You're scrolling. You have 4 assignments due, a test and exam, but you still continue to scroll. You feel horrible, but you still continue to scroll, convincing yourself that you'll do it later. How did you get here? Procrastination is an enemy to your productivity. I used to procrastinate all the time, and that was the reason my life was in shambles. So let's talk about the cause of procrastination. Procrastination is basically when you have distractions around you that are more valuable to your brain in the current moment. And this is due to the fact that your brain prioritizes things through this thing called dopamine. Things that release more dopamine, your brain will want to do more, and it'll make you do that thing versus something else that doesn't actually release dopamine. And this is your brain trying to protect you. So for example, when you eat fast food, you release a bunch of dopamine, a bunch more than actually studying. So your brain will want to eat fast food more and more because it's very highly caloric. So now you might be asking, how do I remove procrastination? Well, the one surefire way to remove procrastination is by deleting all of these distractions one by one. I made a video on how to remove distractions such as social media, but the TLDR is basically deleting these platforms in a way that you can't recover them ever again. So say you had an Instagram account, you want to delete your Instagram account in a way that you have no possibility of recovering it in any near future. The reason you want to do this is because your brain is smart. If your brain knows you can get back on there in like 2 days, it'll do that. So you want to have it basically be impossible to come back to these distractions and to at least add as much friction as possible to them. So basically having no distractions, you will be bored. And boredom is a good thing because if you're bored, then you'll have nothing to do. And if you have nothing to do, then you'll want to compensate by having something to do, which is oftentimes doing your work. Your mindset towards work is actually very important. And this comes to our second chapter. How do you think about work? The way you think about work is very important. And assuming that you've gotten rid of all of your distractions, you have nothing better to do. You now have access to this plethora of discipline. I want you to actively seek out hard work. And there's this book called Eat the Frog by Brian Tracy, which basically talks about, so imagine you can have the best food in the world, but you have to eat a frog. And there's no way around it. Like, you have to eat this frog. Like, whether you have this food or not, you have to eat the frog. So would you choose to eat the frog before this delicious meal or after this delicious meal? Now, the book talks about eating it before, because if you leave the frog till after the meal, the entire time while you're enjoying that meal, you'll be thinking in the back of your mind, oh my God, I'm gonna have to eat this frog right after. And you won't actually end up enjoying the meal. So the best thing to do in this scenario would be to eat the frog and then eat the meal to cleanse your palate. So then if this makes sense to you to eat the frog before you eat the meal, why does it make sense to you to eat the frog after you do the hard work? It doesn't, right? Actively identify the metaphorical frog when it comes to your work and try to do that before anything that you do in your life. Actively identify this metaphorical frog and eat it. You don't want your future self thinking about that frog. You don't want your future self to eat that frog because your current self will be under so much stress thinking about eating that frog. Just get it over with and eat that frog right now. And there's this quote that further supports this. The best time to plant a tree is 30 years ago. The second best time is now. So with that being said, get rid of your distractions and eat that goddamn frog. On that, take care. Also watch this video on how to get rid of social media.